Live stream or roll up a poll up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright? Y'all ready? Tap in. Get up in here. Tap in. Y'all know what this about. Devin Jennings. What's the deal, baby? Already. Yeah. About to go up on this one. I gotta tell y'all who really run the streets. It's the motherfucking judge. Tap in. Tap in. Let's get it. Tell you, you think you doing something? You ain't doing nothing. You think you running shit out here? You really in the way. Honestly. The judge running this shit. Tap in. Tap in. Y'all ready? Alright. Let me go ahead and put it out there for you. The thing is, when it comes to this street shit, the judge is the one that holds who you are. It's like chess. You know. You know the game of chess, right? Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Alright, my bad. Nah, like I was saying, this shit is like chess. You know how you got the front line is all the pawns. Well, in the streets, the pawns is the soldiers. Now, the back end, the rooks, the knights, the king, the queen. The rooks, the knights, those are the prosecutors, the DA, district attorneys, the bailiffs, the secretaries. Then you got the king. The king is the judge, male or female. That's the one you need to be worried about. That's the real gangster. Tap in. Tap in. This shit about to get serious. So all you niggas out here thinking y'all doing something, trust me, you really just in the way for real. Cause after you go to court, the judge is the one that made the call on your ass. Tap in. Tap in. All right. So let me give you an example. Right? So just say you out here in the streets with your homies and y'all gang banging and all that shit, right? You catch a case. The police come snatch you up. Them like the rooks, you know what I'm saying? They the ones that run the streets. So they come pick you up. They come get you as the pawn. Hello, Mona Ramona. Hey, thank you. I'm great. You great too. I appreciate it. Timu King, what's the deal? YM, buddy has a degree and yapology. Yapology. Sure do. I'm sorry, but you know, I gotta explain everything. I gotta break it down. I gotta tell you how this shit go. This is a live stream. You know what I'm saying? This not a short. If you looking for something short, quick, damn, that motherfucking scat page got the fuck on. I don't know if y'all heard that, but he scratched off. But yeah, anyway, you know, shorts is for the short attention span. So if you got a short attention span, go watch my shorts. I got about damn near 200 shorts. All type of shit. So if that's your lane, go watch the shorts. But if you want to learn some real game, you want this to be explained to you, this is where you need to be. Tap in. Drax Lazi, nigga. Nettie Laverne. Hello, greetings from Germany. Where are you from? I'm from Detroit, Michigan. from the west side of the D. Grew up in the trenches. I lived that life, so I'm here to talk about it. Now back to the title. What I was saying about the judge being the most gangster motherfucker in the world. Lily Bow, what's the deal? All right. Now, what I was saying, would the police come pick you up? You and your gang out here running around doing wild shit. The police come pick you up, right? All right. You go to jail. You got to go see that judge. The judge, the one that holds your life. That's the gangster, not you. Because you don't make the decision on your life. The judge do. Let me give you an example. Just say if you one of those type of people that got, what can you say, clout or whatever, like a Lil Durk, for example. You got a Lil Durk, they got all this clout. He got all these people supporting him. You know, he got the mayor of the city behind him. You know, he got the key to the city. You know, he got different places fucking with him, different countries, all type of shit. All type of people that stand up for him and vouch for him. But it ain't up to them. It's up to that judge. Ramona, I love your live. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going live every day, Monday through Friday. Same time every day. I'm going to just be a little late because I'm late to everything. I'm going to be late to my funeral. So just go ahead, hit that notification bell, and I'm going to tune right in. I'm going to go in every day. Laura Carell, you said, hi, I'm new. I appreciate you, baby. Stay tuned in. I got a lot more coming for you. All right. So, when, like I said, back with the Lil Durk thing, you know, like he got all that clout and everything, people will speak up for him, try and get him a bind. It ain't up to none of them. It's up to that judge. And more than likely, the judge gonna say, hell no, nah, you know, because of the, what can you say, the graphics of the case. You know what I'm saying? That's the real gangster, not you. Not you out here running around with your crew thinking y'all doing some shit. That's the dumbest shit in the world, you know? And I'm one to tell because I was out here. I was doing that shit. It's all fun and games until you get placed in front of that judge. You get placed in front of that judge on a crime, I guarantee your knees will buckle. No matter how gangster you is or how much you talk, that motherfucking judge holds your life. And, you know, it's a thing called a scoring grid when it comes to the system. So basically, they got to score you, you know, according to your background, what type of case you got, what happened with the case, how the witness feel, you know, things like that. All of that gets scored. And that's how they come up with your sentence. Well, just say you catch a robbery case. And just say you score at a 9. Just say your score is a 9. Then they go back to they grid. Your score is a 9 on their grid, right? So with that 9 might mean you get sentenced 10 to 20 years. So that means that the judge got in between 10 to 20 to sentence you to. The judge don't got to go with that 10 to 20. The judge can say, fuck that. Fuck this scoring grid. Give him 30 years. Give him life. It's up to the judge. The judge was hired for that position specifically. Let me give you an example. With me, when I caught my case, I caught a carjacking / armed robbery. That's automatically up to a life sentence, right? So I can get sentenced up to life. Usually they start you off with like 15 years on a case like that. But my judge, he went way under the guidelines. My guidelines was like 10 to 30 or some shit like that. So really, I wasn't supposed to get nothing lower than 10 years. But the judge didn't go with that. The judge went way under my guidelines because that's what the judge can do. A judge can go under your guidelines, they can go over your guidelines. Even if you take a cop's agreement, So a cause agreement is basically while you sitting there in the county, the DA, the prosecutors, your lawyers, all of them get together and come up with a agreement to get you to cop out so you won't have to go to trial. With that cause agreement, they could say, yeah, well, we feel like he should do 5 years. Let's offer him 5 years. Okay? So your lawyer come back to you and say, hey, they offering you 5 years. Why don't you go ahead and take it? And you could be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna take that 5 years, right? So you take the 5 years. You go back to court to get sentenced. Again, this comes down to the judge. This is about how the judge feel, what the judge want for you. Like I said, the judge is the real gangster. You know what I'm saying? So they put that plea deal in front of the judge. Hey, us as the prosecutors, the DA, the lawyer, we all came up with an agreement and said, hey, 5 years would be a good fit for this individual. Here you go. Do you accept this 5 year plea that we came up for this individual? The judge could be like, hell no. I want him to do life. They offered you 5 years. You signed to a 5 year cop. But the judge could say, nah, I want him to serve life. And you ain't gonna never know what you gonna get until sentencing day. No matter what attorneys tell you, you can call your people on the phone, have them call the courts and all of that. Won't nobody know how much time you got but that judge. The judge is the only one that knows, which goes back to the chessboard, which is the king. The king only make that one move on that chessboard. That's the judge. That judge make that one move. He call that one shot. Yeah, they do all that chattering and all of that shit, but fuck all that. It only come down to that one decision. How much time they gonna sentence you to. Or at most times, you don't even gotta get sentenced to no time. You can get off. If the judge feel like it ain't enough evidence to convict you, no matter what the prosecutor or the DA office came with, if the judge feel like it's not enough evidence, case dismissed. That's up to the judge. And the DA office and the prosecutors, they all be looking around like, what the fuck? The fuck you mean case dismissed? But it's not up to them. It's up to the judge. That's the real gangster. You know what I'm saying? And after they dismiss your case, guess what they do? They move on to the next. They move on to the next. So either if they dismiss your case or you get time. Either way it go, the ball keep rolling. It don't stop there. They can't object to the judge's time. Whatever the judge sends you to, they can't object to it. So I'm gonna put it like this, right? Just to say like you in the streets, right? Just say you catch a murder. You got a murder. Go to jail. Say you was fucking around with the judge, right? Before you caught this murder. You was fucking around with this judge. Just so happened, boom, this end up being your judge while you getting sentenced for this case. The judge can be like, in her mind, can be like, hey, I'll be fucking this nigga on the low. I can't send him to jail. The judge can acquit your case right then and there. And there's nothing the system can do about it. All because you was fucking this judge on the low. You can get out of a life sentence behind that because it comes down to the judge. It's what the judge feels fit for your case. That's what the judge is hired for. That's what they go to school for. They go to school for that one decision. Now, of course, they got to read over the paperwork and, you know, they got to do things like that. And they say they got to go by the law and all of this shit. Listen, the judges make the law. Believe it or not, they are the law. Who do you think make these laws? It comes from them. You know what I'm saying? The law is on them. Why you think they have the judgment at the end of the day? Another example. Just say you go to trial, right? You have a jury trial. And the jury trial say you guilty, right? They say you guilty and they feel like you should do 20 years. Well, the judge could be like, hey, yeah, he guilty, but fuck that. I'm only giving him 10. It's nothing the jury can do about it. The prosecutor, the lawyer, the DA, nobody. Flip it on the other side. Just say the jury say you guilty, right? We still gonna go with the guilty plea. You guilty. And the jury feel like you should do 15 years. Well, the judge could say, fuck that, life in prison, right? All right, you got life in prison. Now you feel like you can get you some get back because you can appeal your case. Any case that you get convicted of, you can't appeal it. The thing about appeals is it take about a good 20 years to get back on the appeal. You know what I'm saying? And even with that appeal, it don't go against the judge that sentenced you. You know what I'm saying? By the time you get back on that appeal, it got to go through the Supreme Court, you know, the higher courts and shit like that. So by the time you get to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court call you back, all they got to do is say, hey, we going with that judge said from 20 years ago. So it took you 20 years to get this appeal to come back to try and reduce this time on your sentence. And the Supreme Court can still say, hey, well, your first judge said that it was righteous that you do life in prison. So life in prison. Me, I got sentenced to 4 years. They came at me with a college agreement for 2 years. The judge said, nah, that ain't enough time. Gave me 4 years, right? So what I do? I appealed it. You got 30 days to appeal your case. 30 days, right? 30 days from the time you get sentenced to 30 days after that. You got 30 days to do it. Appeal ain't nothing. All you do is just sign the damn appeal paper saying, yeah, I want to appeal. So it ain't like you got to go through a whole process and all that bullshit. All you do is just sign. You can sign it right there in court right as soon as you get sentenced. You know what I'm saying? Again, that shit take time for them to bring you back to court on that. So anyway, I appealed my case because the whole thing was they came at me with a college agreement for 2 years, but this judge felt like I should have did 4. And I felt like, hell no, I shouldn't be doing that, you know? This was almost 15 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I was a whole lot younger. I'm like, man, hell no, I'm not trying to do all that time. I'm going to appeal this shit. So I appealed it. I go to prison. Everybody asked me how much time I got. I'm like, shit, I got 4 years, you know, but I'm appealing this shit. So the appeal is for me to do the 2 years that they came at me with from the college agreement. Everybody like, look, man, you gonna do that 4 years and you gonna be gone home. It was like you're not gonna get back on the appeal within 4 years. I'm like, nah, that's bullshit. My lawyer told me I'm gonna come back on the appeal. I'm gonna get out in 2 years and all this bullshit, right? Everybody keep telling me like, dog, them appeals take years, bro. You'll be good and gone home before you can get back on your appeal. I was not buying that shit. I'm like, look, I'm about to do this 2 years and I'm gonna get an appeal and I'm out of here. Well, guess what? I did that whole 4 years and still ain't heard nothing back from the appeals courts, nothing. They didn't even reach out to me because it takes so much time to come back on the appeals. They got so many appeal cases. Like, again, it literally take about 20 years to get back on the appeal. Appeals are only good for people that got like life sentences and they was wrongfully convicted. If you don't have a wrongful conviction on a case that's at least 20 years or better, you're not going to get back on the appeal. Now, it's very seldom that some guys do get back on the appeals. It do happen, you know, and some guys do get back like within 10 years on the appeal. Some. But that's because their cases was so damn jacked up, you know, and they had real good lawyers and stuff like that on their case that got them back on the appeal within 10 years. If you don't got a situation like that going on, you more than likely gonna do a good 20 years before you get back on the appeal. I was in prison with a guy, we called him Eastside. That was his name. That's what he went by in there. He went by Eastside. He was from the Eastside, right? All right. Eastside was wrongfully convicted. Matter of fact, I remember his name. His name Justly Johnson. And y'all can look his case up. So you know I ain't capping. You know what I'm saying? We was in Adrian Correctional Facility 2012 to 2014. So I did 2 years with him at Adrian Correctional Facility in Michigan. Again, you can look this guy up. His name is Justly Johnson. So anyway, he got wrongfully convicted on a murder. So this is what happened. Um, it was this white woman. She had her son in the car with her. Her son was like 5 years old at the time, right? Maybe a little younger than that. He was somewhere around there. The woman pulled up in the hood on the east side. She pulled up over there in the hood to get some drugs, right? Some crack, dope, cocaine, whatever she came over there to come get. Well, while she pulled up to the house, she's sitting in the car with the son waiting on the dope dealer to bring the dope to the car. Well, the dope dealer never came to the car. A killer came to the car. Killer walked up to the car, blew her brains out. Boom. No mask, no nothing. Bald head guy with black bald head guy with glasses, right? Blew her brains out while her son was in the back seat. 5-year-old son in the back seat. So the killer take off. He take off. The police, of course, pull up, to the crime scene and everything. They asking the little boy what the guy looked like that shot his mama. Mind you, this is a little bitty boy that they asking, but this is the only lead they got to the case. So the boy tell the police he was a bald head black guy with glasses. So the police, scattered the whole neighborhood. They picked up a bald head black guy with glasses, put him in a lineup. They had the little 5-year-old boy point him out. Yeah, that's him. A random dude, just because he was out walking and he fit the description. He got put in the lineup and he got pointed out by a 5-year-old. And he got convicted on that murder. All because the 5-year-old boy pointed him out and said, yes, this is the guy that killed my mother. When that shouldn't even be admissible in court, because this is a 5-year-old kid. He don't know, you know what I'm saying? But that's how it happened. Again, you can look up the case. His name, again, is Justly Johnson. Justly Johnson. So I'm not lying to you. And I was in there with him. This is not a story I heard. I was in there with this guy. So, okay. He get convicted. He get murdered. Get sentenced to life in prison. Now, I bumped into him. By the time I bumped into him, he had about 14 years in, right? He was miserable. Like, he was a miserable dude. Bald head black guy with glasses. And he used to tell us his story every day. Like, man, I didn't do that shit, But when you in prison, everybody say that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you hear that all the time. Everybody say they innocent. It's only a handful of motherfuckers in there that's going to admit it. Like, yeah, I did that shit. And if I get the chance, I'll do it again. You know what I'm saying? It's only a handful of them. Everybody else swear they innocent, because they feel like they keep telling themselves and telling everybody they innocent is going to manifest that and they going to get back on the appeal and get out, But that should be fairy tale. That's just a prison tactic that a lot of guys use to trick their mentality, to try and call themselves free in their mind while they doing time. Is they lie to themselves and they lie to everybody around them saying that they innocent. So he tell us every day he innocent. He didn't do this. That wasn't him. Wrong guy. Blah, 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 blah. I even looked at his paperwork. And he fit the damn description. I mean, of course, there's a lot of black bald head guys with glasses. but it was like he fit the shit to the T. It was crazy as hell. So he telling us every day, man, I'm innocent. I didn't do that shit. I'm gonna get back on the appeal. I'm gonna win this shit. Blah 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 blah. A lot of people in there like, man, just lay it down, man. You not getting back. It's over with. You fucked. Blah 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 blah. He kept the hope alive because he like, I didn't do this shit. I'm gonna get back. Well, I didn't got out of prison now, right? I didn't did my 4 years, got the fuck on. He's still in that bitch, right? Few years later, he get a whole 20 years in. Exactly 20 years. I told him when I met him, he was 14 years in. So by the time he finally got his appeal, he did a whole 20 years. So this was 6 years after I met him when he finally got his appeal. So he didn't did my time plus some just waiting on the appeal since I didn't met him and then left. When he already did 14 years. So when he come back on the appeal, guess what happened? That same 5-year-old boy that pointed him out when he was 5 years old, when the case happened, it's 20 years later now. The boy is grown. The boy is 25 years old. He finally find it in his heart to say, I was wrong. I picked out the wrong guy. I just picked out somebody because I wanted somebody locked up for my mama. So the boy come back and tell the court system, hey, that wasn't the guy that killed my mama. And this is the only reason why he got back. Because he been fighting this shit the whole time he was in prison. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't no get back because the boy pointed him out and said it was him. So he was done. It took for that same boy to grow up and become a grown man and finally find it in his heart and say, hey, I was wrong. It wasn't him. When the little boy did that, they called Eastside, Just Lee Johnson, back to court. They called him back to court. They acquitted him on the charges. Not only that, he won a lawsuit for like $7 million or something. So they gave him $7 million for doing 20 years for false imprisonment because he wasn't the one that committed the crime. It took for the boy that pointed him out to grow up and become a whole grown man to come back and say it wasn't him. This is the only reason why he beat that case. So back to what I was saying about the gangster is the judge is exactly what I mean. That motherfucking judge took his life for 20 years and he didn't even commit the damn crime. But he had to go do that whole 20 years because the judge said so. The judge was satisfied with the evidence that was presented in front of him. When real life, this guy wasn't the one who committed the murder. This is exactly what I mean by the judge set the tone. The judge say whatever the judge wants to say, and that's it. It don't matter what the law is or none of that. Because if the judge would have went by the law, they would have went back and dug up more and more evidence to prove that this guy wasn't the guy that did the shit. Because he wasn't even there at the crime when it happened. Actually, when the crime happened, he was in his house when the crime happened. By the time the police got the word that it was a bald-headed black guy with glasses, this was hours later. You know what I'm saying? And he just so happened to come out the house to go walk down the street to the store. And he got picked up like that. He was in the house when the murder happened. But because of the fact, when they pulled the little white boy in, the little 5-year-old boy, of course they manipulated him, to point somebody out, and the boy was with him because he's 5 years old. He just seen his mama get killed in his face. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers convinced him to point this guy out and say it was him that killed his mama. And he did. And my man's lost 20 years of his life, all because of the judge's sentence. Now, he won that lawsuit for $7 million or whatever, but he lost 20 years of his life. Would you trade 20 years of your life for $7 million? I wouldn't. It ain't worth it. You can make that $7 million in a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? If you really on your shit, you want to take care of your business, and you really want to do something with your life, you can make that. You don't got to go sit in a cell for 20 years for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then it ain't no guarantee that you're going to get back. Just like with him. He wasn't even going to get back. He only got back because the boy grew up and came to his senses and said, hey, it wasn't him that did it. It's the only reason why he got back. It wasn't the judge. The judge didn't come back and say, hey, we was wrong. None of that. The judge moved on and moved on and moved on and moved on. And guess what the DA system did? They moved on and moved on. Guess what the prosecutors did? They moved on, they moved on. And guess what? With him being wrongly convicted, doing a whole 20 piece for something he didn't do, guess what? Ain't none of them get in trouble. Because it's their system. You and they home. You and they ballpark. They say whatever the fuck they want, especially that judge. The final word is whatever the judge say. The crazy thing is, you being the defendant, they don't want to hear your word in court. The only time you get to talk in court is when you get sentenced. And that's when the judge asks you, any last words? You can say whatever you want. Hey, I'm remorseful. I'm sorry for what happened, blah, blah, blah. I learned a lesson since I've been here. You can say whatever you want. That's not going to change your time. You still going to have to do that time regardless. You know, they only give you the option to talk and say something for the record, you know, just to make it seem like, you know, they cared to hear your side or, you know, how you felt or, you know, what you had to say to the family. But they real life don't give a fuck. They don't care, you know, especially when you get found guilty. They definitely don't give a fuck. Like, you a scum of the earth at that time. So again, they only ask you your last word for the record. It's just for the record. That's all it is, you know. Man, y'all gotta learn, man. You don't run the streets, dog. It don't matter what block you claiming or what set you hanging with. You and them niggas is erasable at any given moment. And it all come down to the king on that chess table, which is the judge. The judge come with that final say so and take your whole motherfucking life. And in some cases, it ain't even always just doing a whole lot of time in jail. The judge can send your ass to death, depending on what state you in. You can get the death penalty. You know what I'm saying? It's all up to the judge, man. It ain't up to you. It ain't about how you feel or what you thought. None of that shit. It don't got nothing to do with you, honestly. The only thing that it got to do with you is that you the one that did the shit. But after that, it's in their hands. It's all up to them on what they feel and what they gonna do with you. Man, you gotta stop playing with these people, man. The system ain't playing. It ain't nothing you can do about it. You can pray to God all you want. That shit is not gonna help you, man. You know, when you get put behind they bars, it's over. And it ain't no movement until the judge get a green light. You can sit in jail for 5 years waiting on your case. It don't matter. You're not going nowhere until the judge gives the word. This is why you got to be careful playing around out here, man, because you not the real gangster. That judge is. And you don't know who your judge gonna be until you stand in front of that motherfucker. When that bailiff comes snatch you up out that cell and put you in that damn courtroom, that's when you gonna find out who your judge is. And 9 times out of 10, your judge is there to be against you. Your judge ain't there to ride with you and believe in you and feel like you the one in the right. None of that shit. You know why? Because the system is the ones that sent out the police to come get you. And once they come get you, the job is done. That's all it took. They just need to bring your ass in. They got you in there now. So now it's up to the king on the chess table to make that one move that the king make on the chess table, which is the judge. Make that one move. Set you free or keep your ass locked up. Y'all better know who the real motherfucking gangster is out here in these streets, man. While y'all running around gang and all of that stupid ass shit. Man, look, I was one of them guys, for real. I really was. I thought me and my crew had the streets. I thought we was like that. I thought I was that nigga until I got put in front of the real gangster. And mind you, I wasn't scared of no nigga in the streets. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of niggas all around the D. Hundreds of thousands. You know what I'm saying? All around the city. And everybody in Detroit, gang bang, all of that, everybody do that shit. I wasn't scared of nobody in no hood, none of that. I was in niggas' hoods broad daylight every day. Way before all this internet shit with niggas walking around recording themselves, walking down the nigga block and all of that dumb shit. I been did that way before YouTube and all. We been doing that. For real. We been walking down ops blocks and all. We been doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? All across the motherfucking city. And I thought I was just top dog. You feel me? I felt like I was untouchable until I got booked and had to stand in front of that judge. That's when I learned I wasn't as gangster as I thought I was. Because it wasn't my decision after that. And I had to wait on 6 months just to get my decision from the judge. So I had to sit in the county for a whole 6 months before I even got my decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that shit do something to you, man. And the whole time, you don't know what you gonna get sentenced to. Your lawyer can come see you every week and tell you, hey, it's looking good, man. You straight, man. You know, you ain't gonna get no time. You gonna get up out of here. Your lawyer can tell you all this good shit. And you would go see that judge and get your ass smoked. You know what I'm saying? Shit just turn around that quick. I've been to jail 100 times. I done stood in front of judges 100 times. And trust me, every time I got locked up and I stood in front of a judge, I was scared, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, in the streets, I wasn't scared of shit. But when I got placed in front of that judge, I was scared then. Even when I got locked up and went to the county jail, I wasn't scared of none of that shit. I was ready. You know what I'm saying? I was prepared to fight, pull my pants up, get with it. I was ready for whatever. Until it was time to go see that judge. Even for the pettiest shit, for a drive, just say a driving on suspended ticket, I had 1,000 of them. You know, so I stayed seeing judges for driving on suspended. And everybody know that's like the pettiest ticket in the world. But guess what? It carry up to a 90-day sentence. You can get sentenced anywhere from 0 to 90 days on driving on suspended. So while you thinking that ticket petty as hell, if that judge feel like you need to do some time, that judge can make you do 90 days. Who the fuck want to do 90 days on the driving on suspended? You know what I'm saying? But that shit happened though. That's just the reality of it. It happens. It happens all the time. I did 90 days on the driving on suspended one time. I did that before. So I know it happened. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have times where I get let out of jail that same day for driving on suspended. From getting let out on that same day all the way up until doing 90 days for that shit. It's all in the judge's hand. The judge is the real gangster. When the fuck is y'all gonna understand that? You gang banging motherfuckers, y'all don't run this shit, man. Y'all gotta wake up, man. You gotta wake up and understand. And you know, another thing about gang banging too, let me tell you. Gang banging is only a childhood thing. That's not something you carry into adulthood. You know, that's just really a teenage type of thing. You know what I'm saying? When you grow up and become grown and have bills and responsibilities and kids, and you know, you want to do better for your life, you don't got time to be on the block. You don't got time to gang bang. So for all of y'all that's gang banging thinking that shit is the shit, I get where you coming from. But take it from a guy that just left the streets recently. You know what I'm saying? That really just moved out the way for y'all. I really got out y'all way for real. Now let me get y'all out the way. Because you got a new crowd of gangbangers coming up under y'all. So let me get y'all out the way. Get out the way. Because you don't run that damn block, that hood, That gang you claim, you don't run none of that. The DA's office do. And they watching y'all. If you and your crew got a name out here, y'all terrorizing shit, trust me. Your crew name is sitting on the table in that DA system right now. Whether they come get you or not, your name is in their system. Your gang is in their system. You want me to tell you how I know? All right, let me take it back a little bit. So back in the mid 2000s in Detroit, we had a police task force called Tiger Squad, Gang Squad, Tiger Squad / Gang Squad. Gang Squad, basically what they was just hood cops that'd just ride up on motherfuckers and they'd just beat your ass. They wouldn't even take you to jail, you know. You and your boys hanging on the block and shit, y'all selling dope or whatever and all that. They wasn't taking you to jail for that. This was Gang Squad tactics. They whole thing was just to pull up, beat your ass, and take your drugs. Now this was the agreement. Y'all might think I'm lying, but if you know anybody from Detroit that was in the city in the early to mid 2000s, Gang Squad, ask them about Gang Squad. They'll tell you the same shit I'm telling you. Gang Squad did not take people to jail. They strictly wanted to take whatever it was that you had, and they would challenge you to fight. So they'll pull up 3 or 4 deep in their police car. They'll hop out, they'll take off their uniform and everything and say, "Babe, we want to fight all y'all." They was like that. You know what I'm saying? And they deal was, if you and your crew won the fight, y'all can keep all y'all dope, your guns, whatever. You can keep that shit. They'd get in their car and pull off. But if they whoop you, they taking your shit. This was Gang Squad tactics. This is why the system had to get rid of Gang Squad, because Gang Squad wasn't taking nobody to jail. They was just extorting niggas for real. You know what I'm saying? Gang Squad purpose was to come through the neighborhoods like incognito type shit and catch niggas in the act, and they were supposed to take them to jail from there. But a lot of the cops that was under the Gang Squad unit was street niggas from the city too. They became cops to basically like warn street niggas like, hey, the police coming. Gang Squad do that too. They'll pull up on the block. Hey, them blues and whites, they about to pull up. Because Gang Squad, they didn't ride in the white cop cars. They rode in black cop cars. And they didn't wear the same uniform as, you know, uniform cops. They wore like some black shit. You know what I'm saying? And they'll pull up and tell you like, hey, they about to pull up. Y'all better get off the block. You know what I'm saying? So the system got tired of Gang Squad basically working with the street niggas. And they canceled their whole fleet. So Gang Squad, Tiger Squad, they retired them like 08, 09, some shit like that. Because they wasn't getting nothing done in the streets. All they was doing was helping niggas out for real. So they had to get rid of them. This was around the time when Kwame Kilpatrick was in office. You know, when Kwame Kilpatrick was in office for the city of Detroit, man, oh my God, it was so much shit going on. He was letting all the drug dealers get money in the city. He had Gang Squad on the streets, you know, basically giving niggas the heads up. It was a good time in Detroit, man. Y'all be hearing stories about Detroit. That's one of them eras when Detroit was on fire. When Kwame was in office, which was why he had got sentenced and had to do all that time type shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Kwame was a corrupt ass mayor for real. But we love him. You know what I'm saying? He made sure we was straight. You feel me? So I don't got no beef or nothing against Kwame. I'm just letting y'all know he was the reason why Detroit was turned up like that for real, you know? Man, listen. They got rid of Gang Squad, niggas started going back to jail. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, man. They ain't brought them back since, and they not gonna bring them back. Because Gang Squad was for the streets. For real. They was supposed to be against the street. They was for the streets. Shit, sometimes you would see them on the block with niggas. They'll pull up, park the car, jump out, hop out, be talking to us, all type of shit, man. Gang Squad was a whole different era, man. A whole different era, man. Fun times in the D, man. For real. Them was some fun times. But back to what I was saying, about the judge. You get sentenced, that judge is the one that pulled the plug on your ass. And no matter how tough you is, you got to stand in front of that king. When that king make that move, your heart gonna drop because you don't know what you gonna get. You will think you about to go home and your ass can get set the fuck down. It been plenty of times I thought I was gonna go home on driving on suspended and shit like that. And then turn around and give me a week, 2 weeks, 30 days. Man, hurt my damn heart because I just knew I was about to go home. But it wasn't my decision. It was the judge's decision. Because when you come into their house, it ain't up to you no more. It's on them. The judge is the real gangster. So stop playing in these streets because these streets, they not yours. They belong to the judge, man. It's been another live episode of Roll Up a Pour Up. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured.